So if you didn't already know, the Cancer Dragon is coming to DML next month as the new dragon of the month. You know, this was announced on the in-game news feed and, you know, everyone already knew basically from the Zodiac collection, but this beautiful little dragon will be coming to the game, and we know what the required elements are going to be to breed it. So you can check all of the Cancer Dragon's information on the DML wiki. You know, it's got 78 base attack and 244 health. It is a legendary water and shadow dragon. So it's an interesting typing, shadow and water. Kind of weird. Don't know how I feel about it, but regardless, you know, this is the dragon here, and Idwine, as usual, has posted it onto the Game Lore forums with the list of some of the better combos that we can use. But if you want to know flat out what the best elements or the elements that are required to breed this dragon are, then at the bottom here it shows us that we will need the earth, water, fire, and metal elements. And so, you know, like with every single dragon of the month, there are so many different combinations that you could use to breed this dragon. It's normally better to pick a 3-element dragon with a single element dragon when you're trying to breed legendary dragons of the month, because otherwise you get a lot of bonus outcomes that you don't need. So Idwine has already posted some of the best combinations, but for players that are relatively new, there are a couple of combinations in particular that are going to be better for you. The first one being the Fire and Rust dragon in particular. Fire and Rust, Fire is obviously the easiest dragon to get in the game, and the Rust dragon is also super duper easy to breed, and luckily enough that combination is also one of the better combinations that is going to be used throughout the month. What is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 possible outcomes, so your chances are going to be pretty high. And plus, for the newer players, they probably won't have access to the Runestone dragon anyway, so that's one less possible outcome to begin with. So that is a really good combination for the newer players. Another one that's also pretty good is the Metal and Elemental dragon, or if you've got the Cookie dragon, then you can use that instead. This combination only has 4 possible outcomes, which is really low, which means your breeding chance is going to be higher. It's just the breeding times on some of these guys are higher than some of the other combos. But you know, I will make a full breeding guide for this dragon for the day that it gets released, but this is the first look through, you know, some of the better combinations. So, you know, we've got Mud / Snow and Wolf / Golden. That's another one that's going to be pretty good for the newer guys. But, you know, if you're someone like me that's got any selection of dragons to use from, that Fire and Rust combo is pretty good because of all of the low breeding times, like the 1 hour, 1 hour 30, 4 hour, 6 hour. They're all pretty good overall, but most of these combinations are pretty good. You know, I always say it, but don't just go around and start making up your own combinations without checking them, because a lot of the time they will suck comparatively to these. If you use these combinations that are listed on here on the wiki and in the breeding guides that I upload, you will have a much higher chance of actually succeeding with your breeding in the month. So that is the new Dragon of the Month coming. We obviously also need it for the special Divine Event stuff, so we really will want to get our hands on this dragon. But aside from that, you know, we were supposed to get a new update today. The new update did roll out for Android, iOS, but it is not out on Windows as of right now, so I can't show you everything that is new in the update quite yet. And on my Android account, it was really buggy and wasn't showing some of the new dragons, but someone did send me in these screenshots here, and we have the Leo dragon and the Singularity dragon being the Zodiac collection dragons, because when I open up my Android device, this is literally what I see. We've got the constellation of summer, so we have the Cancer dragon. Next to that is what should be the Leo dragon, but he doesn't appear in game, and the Singularity dragon is the reward dragon for getting the 3 constellations of summer dragons. So, you know, we have to get the Leo dragon and plus another legendary to unlock another epic, you know, just like what it was like with the what was it, Deep Space, I think it was. I keep forgetting dragon names, and plus it's 2 AM, you know, feel sorry for me. Nah, just just joking. I do this to myself. I only have myself to blame. But regardless, the Singularity Dragon looks kind of weird, but Void, Shadow, and Energy, not sure how useful he's going to be, but, you know, an extra epic, I will definitely take it. But the Leo Dragon, I think, looks absolutely sublime. We don't know what his other two elements are right now, and last time I checked on the wiki, they didn't have it updated for him either, but he looks so cool. And obviously, he is going to be one of the Zodiac Dragons for one of the Dragons of the Months, so look forward to being able to breed him sometime in the very near future. I would assume next month, but anything could happen, I guess. You know, they could do it whenever they want to, really, but he's a cool dragon. I really, really like him. So, you know, that is most of the new info that we've got. We do know that with the new update, we also have slight UI changes to things like the farms. I don't think that the wiki is really updated with all of the information regarding the new update yet, but I'm sure that they will over time, so just keep checking back, see what's written down, and you know, when it actually comes out on Windows, I will be more than happy to show you all of the minor update changes, and we're probably going to end up getting the Divine Island very soon as well. The swirling vortex of death will only continue to devour more in its path. It's sort of strange how it just doesn't seem to have any effect at all on the waters. Like, wouldn't it be cool if when this was here, there were like waves that were like a little bit taller than usual? You know, it's just another dimension. Don't worry about it. It's just there. Just ignore it. I'd love to be able to do that. Like, the amount or the lack of care that these dragons have for this gigantic time warp, whatever it is, you know, power to them. But in the meantime, I do also have the Dragon of the Week to be breeding, the Axolotl Dragon, because I've never actually bred him before. So that is an 8-hour breeding time, which is not what we are looking for, unfortunately. But, you know, with all of our luck with the Gemini Alpha, Gemini Beta breeding, and all the other breeding that we've been doing this month, you know, I'm feeling pretty good about it. If we don't breed the Axolotl, I will be slightly annoyed, but you know, I can't have everything all the time, so I'm not going to complain too much. It's just, you know, I love new dragons, so if you can not stop me from getting him, that would be a fantastic game, but we do have another 5 days-ish to try and go for it, so I'm not panicking yet. I might do soon, might do very soon, but oh, I just collected all my gold. I'm an idiot. I do this every time with the clan quest. Why have I got to do this to myself? But yeah, these new dragons that we've been seeing that are going to be getting released, I'm really excited. Chrono Pangu, he's like all green, and I really like that actually. Chrono Nessa is really colourful and vibrant. I'm just liking the sort of variations in colours that we've been getting on some of these new dragons, whether that's the Chrono Divines, whether it's the new epics. I mean, the Singularity looks a bit weird, but I do like him overall. He's like some sort of weird robot. Like it. And I think the Zodiac Dragons as a whole have been pretty good. I think one of the weaker ones is probably something like, I don't know, maybe the Aries Dragon, because he was a little bit weird and his elements were a little bit off. But I've been really enjoying the new sort of dragons that we've been getting released recently. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I do think the quality of the actual dragons that we get in game now is a lot higher than it was in, say, you know, the first year or two that the game was out. Because I was just sick of us constantly getting recolors of boring dragons. I don't mind it too much having the recolors of the Gemini dragons, for example, because they're twins. They are literally, well, father-son twins, I guess. Because you have to breed it to get him, but whatever, you know. I don't mind it with those two, because it makes sense, but I don't like it with the dragons like the Tree Dragon and the Autumn Dragon that are like exactly the same, but they're just a different colour. I don't like those ones. Although you could say that, you know, they're both trees, so it makes sense. Hee hee. I disagree. I disagree. I think it could have at the very least looked a little bit more different. Like the Root Dragon and the Fallen Dragon, they could have been a little bit more different, you know. A little bit more different is my new catchphrase for today, apparently. I say that until I fall asleep, anyway. You know, I was waiting all day for the PC update to come out. Because I remember in the past, when we were getting updates, it tended to be that Windows was the last platform to get the updates. But for quite a while now, they've been bringing out the updates at pretty much the same time. And if not, Windows has been going out as one of the first or second platforms to get it. But not today. Apparently, Windows still doesn't have access to the new minor update data. I mean, at least it's not a huge, major update that we're having to wait on. But I would at least, you know, appreciate being able to see the dragons in game, the new ones, see the new total dragon amounts and everything like that. Because on Android it is just not working. But I did hear that the problem for Amazon Kindle users has been, well, for the most part, fixed. Well, that's the reports that have been coming in, because if you didn't know, people on specific devices have been completely unable to access the game for like a week. Apparently, according to some of them, they finally got access today after the update came out, which is great. So, seems like we're having a lot of niggling issues to sort of deal with and get through at the moment in DML. But, you know, it's much better that they're doing all this stuff now before the actual Divine event is out. Although there's not a lot of time before the actual event is out. So they've only got a couple of days to actually sort it all. But I've got faith. I've got faith. You know, they've been working on that issue, they fixed it. In the new update, the dragon's eyes have also been fixed, and apparently some other animation issues have also been fixed. Like, I appreciate it, but for me, the animations of the dragon's eyes, for me, wouldn't be a top priority. I know that a lot of people complained about it because they were like, I don't like my raw dragon looking weird, but compared to a lot of the other stuff that I want to see in game, it's not, to me, the most important thing. Like, that's not the sort of thing that I would have wanted to see in the update, but since this was more of a bug fix, minor update, just to add the new image files and new dragons, I don't mind it too much. It's just, you know, it doesn't feel like new content is added when tiny little visual bugs like that are fixed. I don't mind visual bugs if they don't actually impact on the game too much and they don't look completely ridiculous. Because you could easily just, you know, not pay attention and not even see that the dragons had weird eyes and weird flippers. But some of the other problems in game, like some of the bugs, people being unable to access their accounts and stuff like that, yeah, that was a bigger problem at the time. I'm still always going to remember when one of the previous Divine events was out, and I was completely unable to access the game at all on Android. I'm still going to remember that. Because literally, it was like, as soon as the Divine event came out, it was like, oh, you're not allowed to access the game, which means you're not allowed to take part in the Divine event. Haha. Yeah, that did annoy me quite a lot. If you're ever going to ask, you know, was there a time where I considered quitting DML? That was probably one of the points, because I just couldn't believe that that was allowed to happen. But, you know, I don't really get that issue anymore on Android. Let's hope it doesn't do a repeat in any future Android updates. You know, I'm holding out hope and faith at this point that it doesn't come back, because it was an awful bug. But, anyway, you know, I've been rambling. I always ramble at 2 AM. I don't know why, but I am very tired. So, for now, I'm waiting on the Windows update to come out, but you know, you've got all the new info for the new Dragon of the Month and the combinations that you might want to use, and just be on the lookout for these new collections and everything else, and can't wait to see what that major reward dragon is going to be at the end of the year. But regardless, for now, thank you very much for joining me, and until next time, I will see you then.